Alright, hello everyone, it's the coach of the Amady Aerial Aces here. It's Brown Pokebears Draft League, and last week got a pretty cool win, 1-2 now. And hopefully you can get another win, start doing 2-2, and then climb back up, and hopefully just getting a cool positive record. On my team on the left, you can see it's Mew, Tyranitar, Raikou, Cinderace, Appleton, Hitmonlee, Garbodor, Celesteela, Seismitoad, Cryogonal, Comfey. And my opponent's team this week is Heatran, Chansey, Golisopod, Galarian, Corsola, Linoone, Sharpedo, Sableye, Suicune, Sigilyph, Klefki, and Regigigas. So, their team is kind of a stall team. It's Heatran, Chansey, Sableye is also pretty stally. Suicune is very bulky. One of the things is that their breakers are like, I don't know. The breakers are Sigilyph, Sharpedo, Golisopod, which are all pretty cool. And then Klefki can offer like spike support. It can offer screen support, help like Suicune, Calm Mind, Linoone, Belly Drum, all that stuff. It also gets Defog. Can run Prankster, Thunder Wave. All in all, just pretty annoying. Sigilyph can also just be like the Cosmic Power Store Power set. It can also be like Calm Mind or even Choice Specs. It gets Tinted Lens as well. Regigigas is just a Pokemon. I don't know. It does stuff if you let it. And then for stuff like Corsola, the Chansey, the Heatran, they're just really bulky. They can set hazards, Stealth Rocks. They have Recovery for Corsola and Chansey. Just overall threatening Pokemon. I don't know. That's their team. Let's get into the team that I'm bringing. Okay, so here's the team that I'm bringing. The first Pokemon is Tyranitar with Lumberry, Dragon Dance, Crunch, Earthquake, Substitute. I'm running Crunch over Stone Edge just because it hits a few Pokemon a little more, and also I don't have to rely on hitting an 80% accurate move with 8 PP when there's pressure Pokemon like Suicune. Yeah. The good thing about Tyranitar is it's a dark type, so it's going to be immune to the Prankster Will-O-Wisp from Sableye, the Prankster Thunder Wave from Klefki. So I basically just have to make sure that the Sableye or Klefki is in fact Prankster before I can just basically switch in Tyranitar in every single time. Substitute helps. It's actually kind of surprisingly hard to break. Like Sableye can't break it with Knockoff. It can't be broken by Seismic Toss because the Substitute has 101 HP. So I can just take that opportunity to start setting up Dragon Dances, and once I get a few Dragon Dances, if their team is tipped, I can just mow through their entire team. The Lumberry is just to protect myself from a single Will-O-Wisp for something like Sigilyph, Psycho Shifting it from something like Will-O-Wisp from Sableye, or Corsola, or Scald Burn from Suicune for some reason. And then Earthquake is just good coverage for Heatran, for Klefki, pretty much all the stuff that Crunch doesn't hit. So yeah, Tyranitar is kind of a win con. It's also just pretty bulky. Overall, pretty good. So my next Pokemon is Raikou. I originally ran like a more defensive set, but I think Choice Specs has the potential to be really good here. Their fastest Pokemon hits 328, so 329 outspeeds their entire team. Thunderbolt and Volt Switch will be the Pokemon moves I use. They don't have an electric immunity. They don't have a ground type. They don't have anything with like Volt Absorb, like Lantern or whatever. So I can basically just Volt Switch for free every time. Aura Sphere is just to hit Chansey and Heatran a little harder. And then Roar is just like if I need a very last-ditch effort to stop something from setup sweeping. I considered running something like Rest over it, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to be clicking that move a lot anyway, so it's not going to end up mattering too much. Raikou is just good for momentum, and then it just can kind of clean through stuff, chip stuff a lot. Maybe pick up a couple kills. Who knows? Mew. In this case, debated running Nasty Plot or just some sort of setup Mew, but I think this set is better, more defensive, stall breaky. It has Taunt. Taunt hits the team very hard. It just kind of, it's the stall beating move, you know, because stall just doesn't use attacking moves a lot. Volt Switch for same reasons as before. They don't have an electric immunity. Super Fang will definitely help chip Pokemon that can't reliably recover, like Heatran. Even Chansey to an extent, just having Chansey be chipped a lot, especially if I taunt it so I can't soft well. is very good. Stuff like Suicune also does not like getting super banged. And then Soft Weld is just for recovery. Throw in some mixed defenses, bit of defense, bit of special defense. I'm not running any speed. I don't feel like I need to run any speed. So that's that. That's the Mew. Hopefully you can do some cool stuff. Their hazard removal is Sigilif and Klefki, and neither of those Pokemon I think really want to run a hazard removal in this game. So I think that there's a pretty good opportunity that they just don't bring it at all. And if they don't bring like good hazard removal, I can just start spike stacking. And the second that I get like the couple layers of spikes down, their team just becomes so much easier to chip. Like if I can have stuff have to repeatedly switch in like Chansey or Suicune, that stuff is just going to get worn down very, very easily. And it means that stuff like Tyranitar and Raikou, especially stuff that's pivoting a bunch, like the Raikou Volt Switch, it's Raikou using Volt Switch, is just going to make it a lot easier for me to break down their walls and win the game. I also have Pain Split for recovery, Haze to stop 7 attempts from stuff like Cosmic Power Sigilif and Suicune, and also I guess Belly Drum Linoon, and then Stomping Tantrum is just to hit Heatran. Gong Shot is not really necessary, like it hits Chansey, it hits Suicune, it just hits stuff harder, but I don't think I need it. I think Garbodor's main role in this matchup is just going to be to stave off a couple of stuff like Suicune, and then also just to get all 3 layers of spikes up, and just be that sort of asset to the team that it can be. Celesteela I'm bringing here. I'm bringing Celesteela so that I don't die to stuff like Linoon, Golisopod, Sharpedo, just their breakers. On the physical side, Celesteela beats all of them pretty much. I'm running Rocky Helmet just to help chip them down. Heavy Slam, Air Slash for Golisopod, Earthquake for Heatran, and then Leech Seed just for, the recovery. Max Defense, I don't know, there's not really much else to say other than, I don't know, it's going to be good for those breakers. I guess it's decent into stuff, like it can just start chipping stuff with Leech Seed. I guess it's decent into Chansey, but honestly, Celesteela isn't as important in this game. It's just there basically to make sure I don't lose. And then finally, I'm running Appleton as a sort of Suicune check if it isn't running Ice Beam. It's also pretty decent. Just in general, it's good as recovery with Recover. I can run Iron Defense, Body Press, and then Apple Acids just helps. Like for Suicune, it can't get Spadef Boost with Calm Mind because Apple Acid is just going to be constantly lowering the special defense. I do have to be wary about maybe being PP stalled by the Suicune if that ever happens. But all in all, I think Appleton's just a decent check to a lot of the stuff they have on their team. They can probably live like a couple stray hits from their physical attackers as well, in case I need to do that. Body Press probably does like 1 billion damage to Linoon. So there is that. I think that's it, yeah. So, yeah, Tyranitar, Raikou, Mew, Garbodor, Celesteela, and finally Appleton. So, let's get into the match. Alright, so this is the team they brought. I see Heatran, Golisopod, Sableye, Suicune, Chansey, and Klefki. No Linoon is good, no Sigilif is good. Sigilif is probably one of the Pokemon that I was more scared of because it just has a lot of offensive presence if they decide to bring the offensive set. No Corsola is also good. One less Will-O-Wisp for Tyranitar to worry about. Do have to be wary of the Heatran, Suicune, Klefki, all that sort of stuff. So let's see what they do. That's fast. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so they laid Sableye. I laid Raikou. I can just I can just Volt Switch, but I'm worried about Trick. If it's the Prankster Trick Sableye, they can just get rid of my Choice Specs. And I do not want to have that happen. If my Raikou loses the Choice Specs, I basically lose just a lot of my pressure. They taunt me, and it's because my only attacking move is Stomping Tantrum. I just decide to go into Appleton, see what they do. They just go for Will-O-Wisp. I think that's fine. Appleton doesn't hate being burned. It sucks for Body Press, but like it's whatever. I just decided to get Apple Acid damage because I'm pretty sure they're just going to taunt me. Maybe they're scared of Leech Seed or something like that. Or just some sort of setup. I don't know. But at that point, I feel like they aren't going to trick me. I can just go back into Raikou. And at that point, I yeah, I got a free Volt Switch. Like, I don't care that they light screen. I still do a bunch of damage even in there, and I can just go Garbodor and just start setting up the spikes now. There's not really a lot Klefki can do to stop me from just getting up a bunch of layers of spikes. So that's the first layer. And now I can just get up the second layer of spikes as well. Yeah, like all in all, this was really good. I go Tyranitar here because I'm pretty sure they're going to taunt. And I can just scout to see if they're Prankster or not. As it turns out, they are Prankster, so now I don't really have to fear anything from them. I just go back in the Garbodor here. I don't see any reason to like start setting up or anything. They have screens up, and I don't have all my layers of spikes down. Their stuff isn't nearly chipped enough for something like a Tyranitar sweep at the current moment. But I do get to get up my third layer of spike here as they go Suicune, and I can just start hazing. My Garbodor is relatively specially defensive. It should be able to take hits. But even so, I just decided to go Raikou, get a little bit of chip, and then go back and start doing that. Let's see if it works. Appleton also works. Yeah, so I just go to Garbodor. I just don't want to haze on Calm Mind, because with pressure, I will actually get PP stalled out of hazes. So what happens is, they go for Scald, do like 44%, and I'm like, wait, that's kind of crazy. Because that means that their special attack is like pretty invested, honestly. Like maybe even modest, like max. And I think that's kind of crazy just for them to do. They have Aqua Ring with leftovers, so I just decided to go Appleton and try to force it out with Raikou, even if that just means sacking Appleton. You know, Appleton is like one of the more expendable members of my team, along with, like, I guess Garbodor. But yeah, I decided to go for Apple Acid to see if they have Ice Beam. Turns out they do have Ice Beam. They don't have Rest or Substitute or anything like that. It's just Calm Mind, Aqua Ring, Scald, Ice Beam, which is really good for me. I can just go Raikou now. Force him out, you know, because they don't want their Suicune gone. Chansey comes in, takes 25% from spikes, and I can just Volt Switch, just go directly into Mew. Now Mew can just start doing the thing that it does. Taunt, can't do anything, can't use Wish. Super Fang, bam, Chansey's at 30% now. Goes for Seismic Toss. And yeah, just really good. Klefki, I can just Volt Switch now, because Mew's job here is pretty much done. And then I just go Tyranitar and pick up a kill. I do this to try to bait them into Reflect. Light Screen is better for them. They realize that, just for stuff like Raikou. But I do get to pick up my kill with the Earthquake. And they can just go back into Suicune. So, Suicune here is kind of sucky, but I do have Mew. I can stop them from Calm Minding a bunch. I can start Super Fanging them down. I have Soft Bell for recovery. So I think the Mew can sort of stave off this Suicune, at least until Light Screen goes away, and then at that point I can just force it out with the Raikou. I don't get Scald Burn there. Honestly, it could go either way, because Burn would synchronize back on the Suicune and negate the leftovers recovery damage, so it would just be like if they had leftovers and not Aqua Ring as well. I just taunt here. Yeah, Scald, and now I just basically have to Soft Weld. They're still taunted. Yeah, I can just keep stalling them out until Light Screen goes away, pretty much. So it's like 3 turns of Light Screen gone at this point. Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I just taunt again to make sure they don't start Calm Minding. They go Golisopod, and at that point, I can just bring out my Celesteela. That's the entire reason they brought Celesteela to this game, just to make sure that the Golisopod or whatever it was couldn't just break through my team. I decided to Leech Seed to get a little bit more recovery first. They Liquidation, take some helmet damage, take some Leech Seed chip. They don't get knocked into Emergency Exit. And now at this point I can just KO the Golisopod with Air Slash. I don't believe the crit mattered. Maybe it was a roll. I don't know. Who really cares? It was going to take Spikes damage anyways, bro. I'm pretty sure they want boots. Yep, I just go Mew now, because as long as they aren't like, as long as they don't immediately taunt me, I'm fine. They don't immediately taunt me, they just go for Substitute, and now I can go for Super Thing, and also pop the balloon as well, which I think is pretty cool. I do believe that I live whatever they go for, so I just go for Soft Weld. If they taunt me, I can just Volt Switch. They miss Magma Storm, which is pretty good. So at this point, I just taunt them to make sure they can't sub, they can't taunt me, they can't Toxic. I should have done that earlier, I don't know. They just go for Flash Cannon, it's whatever, I can Super Fang them down. And realizing that, I go into Sableye, good play. At this point, Sableye is just pretty exploitable for me. I can just direct go into Tyranitar. There's nothing that the Sableye can do to Tyranitar because for Prankster, I'm immune to all of the Prankster moves. I'm immune to Will-O-Wisp. So at this point, there's basically nothing they can do. They decide to recover, and I just decide to Dragon Dance. I could have subbed as well. And at this point, like, everything is chipped down. I have my layers of spikes, and Tyranitar basically just gets to win the game now. There's not really a lot that can go wrong for me, I think. Sableye can't do anything to me. Heatran at this point can't do anything to me because I'm behind sub, and it just dies to Earthquake. Now Crunch gets to KO the Suicune. And at this point, yeah, just there's absolutely zero way for Tyranitar just not to sweep here. I get to KO Heatran with Earthquake. Yeah, Sandstorm goes away. Chansey takes Spikes damage. I KO Chansey with Crunch. And finally, Sableye comes in, and then I just get to KO the Sableye with Crunch as well. So that's game. I think I played pretty well. I was able to get up my spikes. I was able to chip down their team, and then just set up the Tyranitar sweep at the end, realizing that the Sableye was Prankster. I had Celesteela just for the breakers, just like exactly like I planned. Basically, everything went pretty much to plan. Hopefully, I can keep getting wins. Go 3-2 next time. I'm 2-2 now, and I've just gotten 2 5-0s in a row, which I think is really cool. I don't know. I don't have a lot else to say. So see you next time. Bye.